Item number 7, inform the board that the closing date to submit applications for the assistant grant manager position was yesterday, Monday, July 31st. 6 applications were submitted to the county. Mr. Currington is in the process of reviewing the application and scheduling interviews. Item number 8, Area Agency on Aging held a community collaboration meeting on Wednesday, July 26th at 10:30 a.m. The purpose of this meeting was to discuss coordinated outreach, fundraising ideas, and services to the county's seniors. Area Agency would like as much community input as possible as they develop a plan to provide services and make the most efficient use of the funds provided by the county for these services. In attendance were representatives from Elder Care Community Council, Liberty County Senior Services, and Franklin County Senior Center. There was productive discussion with the realization that the local agencies need additional guidance from Area Agency. With that in mind, Area Agency will draft a memorandum of understanding for each party that will spell out how they will contribute towards the coordination of services to Franklin County seniors. Hopefully, this will result in establishing a united front to address the needs of the senior community. There's another meeting scheduled for August 15th at 2 p.m. at the Franklin County Senior Center in Carabel. At this meeting, the MOUs will be finalized for all parties to sign. At the meeting, I explained, Commissioners, that, and no disrespect to Liberty County, and they were right there and I said it, I said we appreciate what you do, but the Board of County Commissioners wants a local agency providing the services to the seniors in this county. And that, I think everybody, it hit them and they started to work together, especially the Carabel Senior Center and this ECCC is what they call themselves, work together to see what they can come up with. Hopefully, a year, maybe 2 years from now, they will be your lead agency, and it will be a local agency that will be a lead agency. And this is what this board has wanted for a few years now.
I'm glad you told them that, Mark.
Yes, and I'm glad it came together, to be very honest with you. It was a very productive meeting.
I got, one lady called me here from Appalachia and started trying to tell me all the services that, anyway, she agreed to become involved in this issue right here, so I'll get with you after the meeting and give you her phone number.
Yes.
So that she can be advised when these meetings are, and she had a bunch of ideas and things.
Yes.
And so that she'll know what we're trying to do, how we're doing it, how things are set up to get her more involved in that. I thought they'd actually tried to set up some kind of board or some kind of local input, and that's what it sounds like this is. So I'll get with you after the meeting and give you that number.
Thank you, sir. We can skip straight to item number 11. Informed the board that Preble Ridge notified staff last week that the city of Apalachicola stopped the paving contractor, Roberts & Roberts, from paving Sawyer Lane. I contacted the city and was informed that Sawyer Lane is a city alley. And even though the alley is named, and the city has allowed houses to be built whose only access is Sawyer Lane, the city's policy is not to pave alleys. Sawyer Lane is in Commissioner Lockley's district. If the city sticks with this decision, I would ask Commissioner Lockley, along with the other board members, to consider paving the grass area in front of the Chapman Building, the part that faces 98, or Weems Emergency Room parking lot as alternate projects. If you guys do agree to consider those, the motion would be to let, if a motion is needed, let Preble Ridge look at the 2 projects and make a decision as to which one because it's really coming out of Commissioner Lockley's paving fund, which one we could afford to do.
Mr. Chairman, can I say?
Yes.
It's a bunch of bull. That's all it is, because they said they stopped them from paving. They said they don't pave alleys. They got part of Sawyer Lane already paved. But I'm not gonna argue with them, and the mayor said since they had made a motion to stop that paving, that they would have to do it with a motion to get that done. So I'm gonna give them to tonight. Don't they have a meeting tonight? The city?
I don't think so, Commissioner. I think their meeting schedule is the first Tuesday after the first Monday of the month, and right now the first Monday of the month will be Monday of next week. So I'm not certain that they'll be meeting tonight. I think I think it will be Tuesday of next week.
Well, I'll give them to them. If they don't sit down, we'll just move on to one of these.
A real quick comment on the 2 projects being proposed here. If they don't move forward, Mr. Lockley, is We did have an accident, we had a fall in the emergency room parking lot at the hospital a while back. There's some rough pavement there, somebody tripped, fell, broke their
Uneven
elbow.
pavement
So I would lean towards that more than I would the other because of that issue with pedestrians using that walkway there. I mean, the asphalt area to park and also access the emergency room there at the current hospital. So that's just my thoughts on that.
Well, what I do is, you put in form of motion if they don't get back with me by the meeting, because the people want it paved right there. And I'm gonna give them a chance to do their thing. But if they don't make no decision at their meeting, I'm making a motion that we get our engineers to just go on through the hospital.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Lockley. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Sanders. Any further discussion?
Yeah, cause I mean, I don't go, they had 1 or 2 people want it. They moved in, they didn't want it, and they stopped that project. They gone now, so I think the project, if they want it done, they could do it.
I will say one thing too, in his wisdom, county attorney said something today that didn't dawn upon me. Isn't Ellis Van Fleet and 17th Street, isn't that within the city of Appalachia too?
It is, and I was gonna bring that up.
Oh.
Right now, we got a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. That reflects back to the state grant that we're fixing to bid out.
Yeah.
And when you bring that back to us as the committee's recommendation on who you're thinking about awarding this to, we need information. Does the city of Apalachicola before we award this bid, we need to know if they're gonna stop us from doing it.
Yeah.
So, you need to get in contact with the city of Apalachicola, let them know we got the state grant to pave Ellis Van Fleet, and make sure that they're gonna allow us to do it before we award this bid.
Mr. Chairman, how about me making a motion to send Commissioner Lockley and the Attorney Schuler to the next city commission meeting, and you don't want to go? Okay. I was trying to get something done because I don't want, just like Mr. Lockley, can Mr. Lockley go?
That's entirely up to the board. My recommendation, that's their meeting, let them do whatever they're going to do. They know the county's request and Commissioner Lockley's request.
Well,
Make the request, Michael, so that they can address it. If their meeting is next
At the same time.
Tuesday,
yeah.
have this addressed by them and let us know what their findings are before we award this bid. Because if they're not gonna allow the construction to take place, then we don't need to be awarding this company a bid, whichever company that happens to be.
Mr. Chairman, I have an update of information on that. Mr. Currington contacted the city of Apalachicola, I believe it was Lee Mathis, after the Sawyer Street event where the paving was stopped. He does not have an answer back from the city as of this time, but they are clearly aware because Mr. Currington has sent them the plans for the 17th Street and Ellis Van Fleet paving project. He just does not have an answer returned yet from the city of Apalachicola.
Okay, Mike, follow her up
will.
and get a documented email, letter,
Yeah.
or something from the city stating we can move forward with the project or we can't move forward with the project before we award this bid.
Well, I agree, and I'm gonna make a motion to that effect for you, Mr. Chairman, to do that. But I'm just gonna say this comment, and I'm gonna say it only one time. You know, in the Carabel area, and I'm just, Commissioner Massey, I'm telling you too. In the Carabel area, we all work together. We need to start working together as a county as a whole. We don't need to be not doing this. We all serve the same people, whether you're the city of Appalachia, whether you're the city of Carabel, or the county commission. We serve the same people. Need to start learning to work together. We all work together. Need to. Anyway, Mr. Chairman.
Well, I paid every street in District 3, the county.
I know you have.
The city gave us $10,000. They get the same monies that the county get. They gave us $10,000 one time, and that was on 24, because we came up with the issue. Other than that, they ain't gave us nothing, but they want to tell you what to pay and who to pay by. I'm just tired of mine.
Mr. Chairman, a point of order. We have a pending motion by Commissioner Lockley, seconded by Commissioner Sanders, to get the city of Appalachian until their next meeting to take whatever action they're going to take regarding the county's request to pave Sawyer Street. If not approved, then they will reallocate those paving dollars to the county ER parking lot. We have a motion to second, but no vote on that motion.
That's Sawyer Lane.
Yes, sir. Actually, I wrote it down Sawyer Lane, it said Sawyer Street, sorry.
I thought we voted, but maybe we didn't. All right, we'll vote on that motion. All those in favor? All opposed? The motion carries. Michael Weir at 11 o'clock.
Well, we still have an outstanding motion from Commissioner Sanders requesting officially from the county to the city approval or disapproval of the request to pave, was it 17th Street and Ellis Van Vliet, but we don't have a second to that motion yet.
Well, she
Somebody
wanted to
second
send
it.
you to the meeting, you and Mr. Lockley, I think, was that
She-
motion.
She amended that motion, I think,
I amended
just
it.
to send a letter, an
I
official
amended
letter
it.
from the
Second.
county.
I meant
that's
your
second.
statement.
Thank you, Commissioner.
We got a motion by Commissioner Sanders, second by Commissioner Lockley. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? That motion carries also.
Okay, so I'll wait until we get through the public hearing, I'll finish my report. Four more items. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Thank you. Commissioners, this is the first public hearing on a proposed moratorium for a portion of property on St. George Island, which is essentially located between 3rd Street East and 3rd Street West. I have requested that outside counsel from Mr. Theriak's office be here this morning to make the presentation. His name is Mr. Terrell Arline. He is a former county attorney for Bay County, which is how I got to know Terrell, and he is presently working with David Theriak. David had a scheduling conflict. I believe he has a trial somewhere else, maybe down in Boca Raton, but he sent Terrell up here on his behalf. So with that, Mr. Arline, I'm going to go get him now.
Morning, Chairman.
The Board of
Members,
County Commissioners is now in recess. This meeting of the County Commission, acting as a local planning agency, is convened. Proceed.
thank you, Chairman. Members, my name's Terrell Arline. I work with Theriak in Spain, and we are the Land Use Council that sometimes assists the county on land use matters.
Mike.
And our office is in Tallahassee. And here today to give you a little direction on the moratorium issue. It's a temporary moratorium. It's 6 months. It's limited in location. It's 2,100 feet from the center line of the streets out on St. George Island there, main streets. And the purpose is to plan. And the Florida law says that the local planning agency is supposed to convene and consider all land use matters, like rezonings and comp plan amendments and changes to the future land use map and those types of things. And the Florida courts have said that a moratorium has the effect of land use, and it needs to be considered by the LPA, the local planning agency, and adopted like you would a comp plan amendment. So our office worked with Mr. Schuler's office, and we helped draft an ordinance for your consideration. The ads were published in the newspaper as large ads that you would for a plan amendment, and you're going to have to hold 2 public hearings on this and hear comment. And right now, you're sitting as a local planning agency. So our recommendation is that you hear from the public on the matter. You can discuss it among yourselves. We do not recommend that the LPA take a vote, but then allow for the public comment, and then close the LPA meeting and open the Board of County Commissioners meeting, and then process the requested ordinance under the Board of County Commissioners and vote on it if you wish, and hold another public hearing. Trying to make it as bulletproof as possible. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Any questions from the board? We will
Thank you
now
very
begin
much.
the public comment session. If you would like to speak, please raise your hand, be recognized. Start in the front, come forward, state your name for the record.
Donna Butterfield, thank you for recognizing me. Since 1970, I have been awestruck by the welcoming view of St. George Island when crossing the bridge. Why would thousands of visitors flock to the island every week if they weren't struck by the same beauty? Now the County Commission is assessing this gem as a corridor to, quote, an attractive, vibrant, and economically prosperous community necessary to protect the character of the island and the reasonable development expectations of property owners. I applaud your honest and sincere efforts to do so. Proposals have been made to dredge and fill protected land wetlands, build a fence to contain the spoil, build a large boat basin, an RV park, lay down a 100-space parking lot, etc., in the same location at the terminus of the bridge. It seems profit seekers come up with bold, audacious proposals that in effect diminish or even demolish the very nature of that which has made St. George Island such an attractive place and a boon for the entire county. Can you imagine what the island will look like when the sandy beaches, glistening clear waters, large stands of mature pine trees, and protected wetlands are gone? Not to mention the negative impact on the enormous revenue the island generates for Franklin County as the natural resources are degraded. Please pass the moratorium, Commissioners. Give developers, speculators, and islanders time to think about and evaluate the consequences of their actions. The responsibility of good government is to protect the common good, not guarantee a profit to a property developer. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Next. Please state your name for the record.
Mason Bean, St. George Island. My first question was why, but you explained it. It's going to be a planning session. During this planning session, I hope that we possibly might have a workshop to rewrite the C4 wording. We have a cancer growing in our commercial district, and that is 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, R1. That's creeped in. People are buying an inexpensive commercial lot and then building a house in the middle of a commercial zone. When you have a commercial development, there is a plan for stormwater, parking, garbage, signage, access. And when you build a residential house on a 25-foot lot, you waive all that. So you put a higher density and all the built-in protections are gone. As far as the commercial goes, anybody that's going to build a commercial development needs a medal for the jobs they're going to provide and the ongoing jobs for the development. There's protections built in. I want to get back on my soapbox. We need a marina. I hope we can reconsider that. We need a marina. We need to have a 10, 20-year vision for a little barrier island that's 4 miles out in the Gulf of Mexico for emergency sake, it just needs a marina. Anyway, I'll be happy to sit on a committee or be part of that workshop, and delighted to serve. I thank you for the opportunity to speak, and thank you for your service.
Thank you. Next, Alan, you had your... You have your hand on?
I did.
Okay, come forward. State your name for the record.
I'm David Duncan. I live in East Point, Florida. I have a construction business here in the county. I employ 8 full-time employees, do a lot of subcontractors. We don't work a lot in the commercial district. We do have a couple of projects that are sitting out there on the books. One in particular is just an improvement to a particular commercial property that meets all the guidelines. I spoke to planning and zoning administrator, showed them the plan. They said it meets all the guidelines that are already set forth. It's not asking for any variances, it's not asking for any, the variances or zoning changes. What I would like y'all to do is, if you, this one part here where it says application for development, that is the border headline for every permit in this county, okay? So if it's a replumb, if it's a new circuit box put in a house, whether or house or commercial building, if it is a new drain field put in, that is application for development in this county. So when you go in and ask for a permit to do something, what y'all are implementing is shutting down every permit pulled in that 3rd Street to 3rd Street. So what I would like for y'all to do is evaluate the wording of your moratorium. Maybe consider putting a moratorium on zoning changes, variances. That's what we have planning and zoning boards for, to make sure it meets the guidelines. And maybe step back. I understand evaluating everything. You don't want anything to get out of hand. But if we look around the commercial district of St. George Island, we've had, what, one project in the last several years? So, and it's added some jobs to the county. I think that some people are considering this as over one project. Some people are saying it's not. I think you need to look at everything that happens underneath this application for development. I think that I had 2 different conversations with 2 different commissioners yesterday, and one said, yeah, I think it goes for every permit, and the other one said, oh, I didn't realize it went for every permit. So when you pass this, you've shut down every permit from 3rd Street to 3rd Street, with the exception of the R1. So if they have to do an HVAC change out on their building, that's not general maintenance. That's a permitted application. So we need to, I personally would like to see y'all reevaluate the wording of this to where it goes into variances, zoning changes, that sort of thing. And I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Come forward, state your name for the record.
Billy Blackburn, BJ's Pizza. I also agree with David. We had plans this fall at the end of the season to upgrade my electrical on my building. I need permits for that. It's the same thing. We thought we had a problem yesterday with our aerobic system. We would have had to get a new permit for that. If this was to happen down the road, this is going to hurt the businesses that are there right now. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Any commissioner comment?
Mr. Schuler,
Yes, ma'am.
can we address this? Can we address this?
Yes, certainly there can be discussion among the board members. There's not going to be a vote of the LPA during this session of the public hearing. When this LPA meeting is convened and you reopen as the Board of County Commissioners, there'll be another opportunity for public comment, and another opportunity for you sitting as county commissioners to have a discussion. And certainly, as you can see from some of the documentation that I've provided to the board, the attorneys are already aware of this issue. We've anticipated it, and we've recommended making certain limited changes to the proposed moratorium to allow for building permits to be issued for repairs and maintenance of existing structures. So I think that will take care of the issues that have been addressed by some of the speakers here this morning.
Thank you, Mr. Schuler.
Yeah, thank you, because, I mean, we can't shut them down for repairing and stuff, because they shut down.
Correct. Correct. That was just an oversight on my part whenever I was looking at the initial draft, but we did recognize it and it has been corrected.
Keep in mind that repairs are different from...
Hold on. You can't speak from the audience. You have to come back to the podium.
Okay.
Please come forward and state your name for the record.
I'm sorry, it's David Duncan again. And I had spoke to Mr. Massey. He's my representative of my district. And I appreciate your concern there because about the repairs. But keep in mind, there's a lot of maintenance that goes on the island. It was brought up to me a while ago that would be rewritten so that the maintenance wasn't affected. There is quite a bit of maintenance, but there's not permits pulled for maintenance. People are changing hot water heater elements, they're changing air filters, that's maintenance. But under the law and under the code, when you do major improvements to a building, you're to pull a permit. And us that are licensed, we come in and we pull permits for that work. Okay? If you rewrite it to include maintenance, it does not include application for development. So, one of my customers in particular has a plan. It's basically improving a property that's there, but it will take a full permit to do it. So, as for my customer, I have to look out for them as well as my employees that work for me that will be working on that project. So we didn't want to rush in here to try to get this application for development in before this happening. We just asked y'all to consider this. Is you're shutting down construction completely for 6 months from 3rd Street to 3rd Street. By allowing just maintenance, that is not construction, that is not projects. That's not pulling a permit to put a driveway in, pulling a permit to site prep something for an additional building on a piece of property that is under the zoning and guidelines of the county at this time. So that's what the reverbiage, I just want all the commissioners to be clear on the reverbiage that I was spoke to about will not change this application for a development situation. Thank you.
What you talking about, a remodeling deal?
Particular building, there's a particular job right now that has a building in place.
Come forward where we got a microphone.
I have a customer just recently purchased a piece of property that has a building in place. Very small building, office space. He's going to be looking to do an additional building for the storage for the maintenance purposes of all of his properties on St. George Island, which is quite a few of them. All right. In that case, it meets every guideline, every setback, every zoning requirement, everything that's already there. It's in an ex-flood zone. I mean, there's very few of those on St. George Island. By doing this, he can't do any of it. He can't put the driveway in, he can't do, and he just bought the property. He just invested quite a bit of money to do this, and we can't even get the stuff together. When I spoke to Miss Amy about it, she said, well, you can bring it in and submit it, but with a moratorium, we won't do nothing. We'll sit on it for 6 months. So as in this here, it says that, that if it affects an individual, that they can make a written request to y'all about that. But that's a legal thing, and I understand that. And that may be the case in this situation. But also listening to the attorney that stepped in, that's been in Bay County, there was one key word I heard him say, and that said zoning, that said variances, that said land use. But if the land use is already set forth right now, and it meets all those guidelines, why are we going to stop the work? That's what I'm saying. I heard this nice lady say that she didn't want nothing to happen all across. I don't know anything about that project. I don't know anything. All I know about is the future projects that my company is dealing with that meet the land uses at this time. So I want y'all to consider that by this verbiage change on here. It's not going to change anything because maintenance, no one's pulling permits for that anyways. Thank you.
Come forward, state your name for the record.
Good morning, my name is Roger Crawford. I'm facing needing to put a new roof on my building, and I'll need a permit for that. That's the kind of permit I'm thinking about. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
How's leaking, sir?
Any other commissioner comments?
Yeah. See, this thing is opened up. That's why I don't go along with it, because it's opening up too many. It's opening up a keg of nails. I mean, why should all these other people suffer behind one or two projects? Deal with them. They don't have to be in that. I mean, it's you got to write this thing where it don't affect the rest of the people on the. I mean, they not doing no major development. They, like they said, they repairing, they replacing, or adding on. They've been there, and you're stopping it. The main thing you're doing, you're stopping the workers in Franklin County. It ain't like we got no good workforce as it is, and you're gonna stop a whole lot of them. That's what I'm watching too.
Any other public commissioner comment?
I'd like to make one, Mr. Chairman, please. Representing this district and talking to people in the district, I have come across the concern is presently, and for whatever reason, we'll take our knocks for it if we have to, Franklin County does not have a code enforcement officer for unincorporated Franklin County. There has been concern expressed to me about things are good now, but nobody can regulate or legislate who buys what property in what place. And if there is not something, this is a sentiment that's been shared with me, if there is not something done by the county, which has the authority to do so, to try to help organize all future plans for the business district on the island, then it's going to be whoever's got the most money wins. Also, and additionally, I know that we have made efforts in the short time I've been a commissioner to try to help and to make things better there. And I think this is a step in the right direction. We've been informed by legal counsel that it will take this 6-month period. Here's my question to those that have been for or against this today. If this 6 months doesn't work for you, you tell me which ones do. Because I don't know that as a board, and again, we all have to decide, I don't know that we can come up with a 6-month period that's going to make everybody happy. So that's my comment.